everybody, today we're gonna do this smoky eye with a gold liner and we're gonna start prepping the skin with a green tinted primer to take away all the redness in the skin that she has. We're going to massage it in with our hands to give it a nice spread and to make it very light in texture. I also want to take it all the way down the neck so that she doesn't have any sharp edges or hard lines anywhere. Now we're gonna prime the eyes using Too Faced Shadow Insurance, and we're gonna spread it very evenly throughout the eyes so that the eyeshadow blends very nicely on top. And we're gonna use a very light shade on the Narsissist palette, and we're gonna blend it all over the eye so that the shadow that we put on top blends very seamlessly. Now, using the same palette, we're gonna take the mid brown shade that we have in the second row and we're gonna blend it all over the crease using a smaller brush but still a fluffy brush because we wanna give it a nice blend. Building up the shades like this from lightest to darkest is gonna help the shadows blend together very seamlessly. We want to make sure not to take the brown shadow very close to the eyebrow because we want to give some space between the shadow and the brow so that it has a bit of a lift, so the eye has a bit of a lift. And now we're gonna take from the same palette, we're gonna take the brown sparkly shade and we're gonna blend it all the way into the mobile lid. We're gonna take the darkest shade, which is a very deep brown, and we're gonna blend it in the outer corner and the inner corner, and we're gonna give it a lot of depth, but we wanna leave like a space in the center to give it like dimension and light. Now I'm using a smaller fluffy brush to match the size of the space that I'm shading now. I want to make sure that I intensify the look little by little because it's easier to put on than take away. And now we're going to take the same sparkly brown shade and we're going to press it in with our finger in the center of the eyelid to give it light and dimension. After blending everything together, we're gonna take a black liner and we're gonna line the waterline to give it a lot of depth and definition. A smoky eye is typically very dark around the lashes, so we want to make sure that we line everywhere, including top and bottom. And now we're gonna use the brown sparkly shade and we're gonna use a shader brush to put a bit of shading under the eye. Now we take the darkest brown shade in the palette and we make sure to blend everything, the lower lash line with the upper lid. Taking the same liner that we used for the waterline, we're gonna line the upper lid and we're gonna go very close to the lashes, in between the lashes if possible. And now the start of the show is this beautiful Urban Decay gold liner, and we're gonna line the upper lash line very close to the lashes, making sure that we don't do like a super thick line. Using something like this is ideal for someone who doesn't have a lot of practice because the gold is very forgiving as opposed to a black liner, which is gonna be very stark. But either way, make sure to get as close to the lashes as you can and try to make it as straight as possible. This is gonna give a punch to the eye. I want the look to be very intense, so we are applying a full strip of lashes and we're doing Ardell lashes in number 110. After cleaning all the drop down from the eyeshadow, we're gonna apply foundation, and we're using the Makeup Forever HD, and we're gonna blend it with our sponge. And I'm using a sponge here because I don't want a lot of coverage because the eyes are already so dark and intense. Again, as the same as with the primer, we're gonna blend it all the way down to the neck, and now we're gonna apply concealer, and we're gonna lift all the shadows. Because we are using very dark eyeshadow on the eyes, we wanna make sure that we lift all the shadows from underneath to give life to the face and so that she doesn't look dead. And you can also use concealer on the face to lift any shadows that you have. It doesn't necessarily have to be used under the eyes. Because the eye look is so intense, I want to make sure that I define the brows, still making them very fluffy and natural, but giving them a lot of definition. Because if I leave them too light, looking too light, they're gonna get lost with the in the face. And now to give the brows more texture, we're gonna use a tinted brow gel. It's gonna make them look very natural and fluffy. And now we're gonna use the Hourglass Vanish Flash Stick, which is a highlighter and a stick, and it's beautiful. It's one of my favorite products that I gotten so far, and it's beautiful. It blends very seamlessly. It's not super shiny or super glittery at all. And we're gonna blend it with a mini like beauty blender thing from Real Techniques. And now that I used all my wet products and creamy products, we're gonna go ahead and set the face with a large fluffy brush, and we're gonna use just a light layer of powder. I don't want to make it super matte. And now with an angled brush that has natural hair, we're gonna bronze up the face, and we're using the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil powder, which is one of my favorite bronzers because it's very matte, doesn't have any shimmer at all, and the color is very realistic. It's not orange at all, it's not gray, it's just plain, simple, gorgeous bronzer. We want to place the product very closely to the hairline and blending it inwards so it creates like a halo effect and gives a lot of dimension and structure to the face. And now, because we're creating more of a glamorous, sexy look, we want to place the blush on the edge of the contour, because if you put it too up high in the cheeks, it's gonna look very dully. Now make sure to blend everything together, and it's time for lashes. We're gonna use CoverGirl the Super Sizer Mascara, and we're gonna use a very thick layer of mascara, making sure that we hit the root of the lashes. We want to create lots of definition close to the roots of the lashes because it's gonna frame the eye. Otherwise, because of the gold liner, the eye would lose a bit of definition. So we apply mascara top and bottom, making sure that we give lots of volume and lots of length. We definitely want to keep the lips looking very natural but still defined, so we're going to use number 7 lip liner in the color nude, and this is one of my favorite lip pencils because it's very natural and it suits everybody. And we're going to use then a gloss on top that's still very natural, very neutral, and we're going to tap it to take away the excess and it doesn't look overly glossy. So this is the final look, and if you have any questions, please let me know. I hope you enjoy.